Today, I will be reading in the r/ entitled people and petty revenge subreddits. And just a forewarning, today's video is kind of crude. So if you watch these videos with children, maybe click away. But let's read about these nasty entitled people, shall we? Want to use my trauma darkroom as a little love nest and try and get me busted? Hope you like the lines at the unemployment office. Worked in emergency radiology in the early thousands. The overwhelming majority of our film developing back then was done using daylight processors. This was pre-digital radiography, but the occasion would still arise every now and again where you would need to hit a darkroom to develop your radiographs. The darkrooms were fairly cramped, loud, nearly made you dizzy with chemical odor, were hot and muggy, and almost entirely dark, except for a blazing red safe light in the corner, just so we could see what the hell we were doing. Our countertops were kept clean, but the majority of the room was usually pretty busted, especially the ER darkroom. Entirely too many damn times, I'd rotate around the little revolving door from the trauma hall to that particular darkroom, and were mere inches away from hospital staff half naked and going at it. I should also add that revolving darkroom doors do not lock at all. I was almost always carrying a highly time-sensitive film anytime I did hit a dark room, so any offending pervs were guaranteed a masterclass in profanity while they hastily threw themselves together and ran like hell. Hospital staff doing stupid sexual shit with each other is more common than you'd think, so I'd just get pissed for a minute or two and dive back into my work. No time for love, Dr. Jones. I had a repeat offender who was actually an ER nurse. She had the brass balls to eventually try and go to my supervisor post-coitus interruptus. This was time number 3, and get me reamed out because, I quote, purposefully interrupted a private conversation. My supervisor laughed her silly ass right out of the office, as dear nurse C-word had no reason nor authorization to be in the darkroom, period, but I was gunning for that tramp from that point on. Took almost a year to nail her, but boy did I ever. Happened upon the bottomless vagina one last time in my motherfucking darkroom. I quickly grabbed her scrub pants, which were right between the revolving door entrance and her nasty bare ass on my goddamn countertop, and whipped right back out the revolving door again. Presented the now neatly folded scrub pants to the ER nursing supervisor moments later, making sure the badge pull on the tramp's waistband was turned over to showcase the hussy's smiling face and name. Pointed the supervisor down the hallway to trauma and told them that Nurse Naughty Bits was in the darkroom and requesting the soup bring her these pants. The nursing supervisor briefly looked at me like I'd grown another head, but she turned on her heel and hightailed it down the hall to the darkroom. Never saw Skank RN again after that night. The married respiratory therapist she was banging that particular time didn't have his employment helped whatsoever from the fiasco either. I wish I would have had time to stay and watch the fireworks. It was apparently rather brutal and quite the scandal for a while, but I was already hauling ass to the main department darkroom to get my film developed, while Nurse Trollop got hers in front of the entire ER on a busy weekend. I also never saw a bare ass in my darkroom again, until I transferred hospitals. Dang, I guess you could say that darkroom was a literal red light district. Damn it, Roxanne! There are ass prints on my film. I see the problem. There's an ass clogging your arteries. Devin, my ex who cheated on me with my mom and received gonorrhea from her. My ex is angry that I keep telling people that my mom gave him an STD and he wants me to stop. So I'm going to tell you the story about how my ex Devin contracted gonorrhea. Back in 2014, I was forced into ballet by my controlling narcissist of a mother. I hated it, and that is how I met Devin. He was honestly the most beautiful ballerina I ever saw though. He carried himself with grace, his smile was intoxicating, and everybody wanted Devin. I made my move, and it didn't take long before we started dating. At the time, he was 16 and I was 14. I was in love with Devin. He was supposed to be my knight in shining armor. However, Devin was just a D-bag wrapped in tinfoil. About 5 months into our relationship, Devin and I went to a party. Halfway through the party, I lost Devin, so I went looking for him. I found him receiving a BJ from another girl. I just walked away in shock. I was trying to walk home when he rolled up, telling me to get in his car. I didn't want to. I told Devin to go himself. I would rather walk home in the goddamn dark than deal with his bitch ass. I don't remember how Devin convinced me to get in his car, but when I did, I just wanted to know why. Why did he cheat on me? That SOB tried to gaslight me. Nothing like that happened. He doesn't know what I'm talking about. I saw nothing. It wasn't how it seemed. I was making things up. I wouldn't buy it, because I knew what I saw. Then Devin cut off the headlights of his car, floored it down the dirt road with no streetlights, and just screamed how he was going to kill both of us, and how when someone found our bodies, they'd just assume it was an accident. Devin then stopped the car in a halt and told me that if I bring up that girl one more time, it won't end well for me. He drove me home after that. I should have left him after that, but I was just so afraid of him. It didn't take long for the abuse to start. He would scream at me, hit me, cry and stomp his foot when I didn't do what he wanted me to. He threatened to unalive himself when I would refuse to talk to him. We dated for a year, and in that year, I experienced hell. But on to the title. I had tennis practice, but halfway through my practice, I started to feel sick, so I called my stepdad to pick me up and take me home. Before we pulled into the driveway, there was Devin's car. It wasn't all that surprising though, as sometimes Devin would be in the house waiting for me. Then, as we walked into the house, we heard them. My mom and Devin weren't quiet. My stepdad pulled out his phone to record, and then we went upstairs and walked in on Devin jackhammering my mom. There was a lot of screaming, threats, and crying. My stepdad and I went to the car, then we drove to a parking lot and just cried, while both our phones were blowing up. My stepdad then sent the video of my mom and Devin to both of Devin's parents. They asked for a meeting, they exchanged information, and my stepdad told them he would see them in court. His parents tried to play it off like Devin was the victim. 1. The legal age of consent in my hometown is 16, and he was 17 at the time. 2. No, he wasn't a victim. Far from. In the video, Devin was trying to smack the phone out of my stepdad's hand, and when I started crying, asking him how he can do this to me, he told me to stop crying because I wasn't even that good in bed. My stepdad and I went back to the house. I went to my room while he went to pack up his stuff to leave. My mom came into my room and I was crying because even though Devin was a piece of garbage, he was still my boyfriend. My mom had the audacity to start ridiculing me. It's not my fault that your boyfriend wanted me. Boo-hoo, stop crying. Maybe if you put on some more makeup, you could keep a man. Then she rubbed dirt into the wound by turning it on my stepdad. How Devin pleased her so well, like a real man, unlike my stepdad. All the while, Devin was trying to call me. Y'all, Devin's way of apology was to blame me. I'm sorry you had to see that, but if you spent more time with me, I wouldn't have been seeking other women. Your mom was there for me, and she cared for me. You abandoned me when I need you most. Blah, blah, blah. Victim blaming, victim blaming. Like, I gave you my heart and soul. I put my needs on the back burner for yours. What do you want from me? Then Devin switched tactics, trying to convince me that I misunderstood the situation. Like, mofo, I walked in on you screwing my mom, you flippy floppy bastard. Anyway, fast forward to the time I went to school. I did not talk to my mom or Devin at the time. Devin's sister spread the news to the school that Devin banged my mom. Now, I was afraid to tell people that Devin was abusing me because I knew no one would believe me. Devin had this good boy reputation. However, Devin let his mask slip and hit me in front of the whole student body. The funny part is that no one believed he was seeing my mom. No one believed that until he hit me and started blowing up about how I ruined his reputation. He just had to keep his mouth shut and he would have gotten away with everything. We were broken up and I had to explain to the principal and our guidance counselor that wasn't the first time Devin had hit me. That boy did a lot worse things to me than that, and I wasn't his first victim. Devin was in a previous relationship and he did the same thing to her. She told people and no one believed her because, like I said above, Devin was a good boy in everyone's eyes. They isolated that girl to the point where she had to move away. No one believed her until Devin slapped me in front of everyone. Devin got suspended. Devin's parents gave my stepdad some hush money and then moved away because of shame. My stepdad and my mom got divorced because Devin wasn't the only person my mom was cheating with. By the way, my mom never stopped seeing Devin. She took him on elaborate trips. They went to Hawaii, Disneyland, and goddamn Texas. Devin and my mom were a match made in hell. But karma prevails. Devin suffered a leg injury and had to retire from ballet. It was his passion, so he got depressed and got fat. Not being quote-unquote hot anymore, my mom left him. His parents abandoned him, and the last time I checked, he works at an auto store and lives with his sister. To top off all that, my mom gave him gonorrhea. I know this because they tried to blame me for it. How's your leg, Devin? Me? I'm in love, happily married to a man who treats me like a queen, and have 3 babies. Eat the dirtiest part of my ass, Devin. Edit. Devin has seen this post. I repeat, Devin has seen this post. Devin's in the audience, people. Look alive. So apparently Devin saw the post and sent OP a message demanding that she delete the post and stop telling people about the incident as it happened 8 years ago. Well, sweet Devin, sweet Devin, Reddit Brew is here to share the story. It's probably going to get covered on TikTok too. Oh, and we can only hope that the famous r/ covers this one. That would really get my petty heart fluttering away. Eat a satchel of Richards, Devin. OP deserves this satisfying catharsis. But anyway, that is all from me today. I hope you enjoyed these 2 entitled people Reddit stories. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I truly appreciate when you do, and I will see you in the next Reddit story. Bye!